Hi, welcome to our channel of IGNOU Audiobooks, Indira Gandhi National Open University, School of Management Studies, SOMS, Master of Commerce in Finance and Taxation, M.Com, F.
1.1 Introduction. The need for flow of funds among nations arise because of two reasons, a. Trade between the nations and b. The funds may be transferred from one country to another, both, at government and private level for investment. The freedom to move funds across the nations are subject to many restrictions. To overcome the difficulties, certain concepts, laws, rules and institutions are to be set up among the nations. This also essentially requires multilateral agreements so that the obligations of the nations are well defined. These concepts and institutions are divided into three categories: I. International monetary system, 2. System of exchanging currencies, and 3. Multilateral institutions regulating and stabilizing the international monetary system. This unit, you will learn about the international monetary system, floating rate system, European monetary system. You will also learn about world trade and regionalism, international financial system and developing countries, and Asian currency crisis, and at the end of the unit some of the regional financial institutions are 1A2 International Monetary System. We may define international monetary system as a set of arrangements, rules, practices and institutions under which payments are made and received for international transactions across national boundaries. The international system is concerned not with the supply of international money, but with the relationships among 100 or so currencies of individual countries, and with the pattern of balance of payments IPS and the manner in which they are adjusted and settled. Thus, the system is broader than monetary in that it is concerned with trade relationships and fiscal and other national policies as well. But to call it a system is to impute more formality to it than it deserves, even though it embodies a set of rules enunciated in the Articles of Agreement of the International Monetary Fund. Thus, one author had suggested that the appropriate term could be International Monetary Order, but as the entity which we are discussing can be both disorderly and unsystematic, the term International Monetary System has come to be in vogue rather than more precise terms. International monetary relations are governed not only by the fund rules but also by agreements and consultations among nations through other international institutions like World Trade Organization, WTO, earlier General Agreement on Tariff and Trade, GATT, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD, and now European Monetary Union, EMU, the Bank for International Settlements, BIS, and other international organizations. A major reason why the international monetary system is afflicted with problems is that nations that participate in the functioning of the system are politically independent but economically and financially interdependent. This discrepancy defines the core function of the international monetary system. At its best, the system acts to reconcile the conflicting economic policies of politically independent members. Thus, to perform this reconciling function, the system is concerned, firstly, with those economic policies of its members that affect the other nations, with how nations act, deliberately or otherwise, regarding their balance of payments positions. Each country's balance of payments being the mirror image of the rest of the world with it. Important policies here are those that affect exchange rates, since each country's exchange rate with another country is also the exchange rate of the other country with it. Secondly, the system is concerned how nations settle their accounts with one another, how they pay or receive money in some form to finance deficits and surpluses. Thirdly, the system is concerned with the amount and form of international money. In this respect, its nature is similar to that of domestic monetary systems, though international money includes cash as well as other financial instruments. In broad terms, the international monetary system involves the management of three processes. 1. The adjustment of balance of payments positions, including the establishment and alteration of exchange rates. 2. The financing of payments imbalances among countries by the use of credit or reserves. And 3. The provision of international money reserves. 1.3 Need for international monetary system. An monetary system requires a set of rules of behavior. The gold standard system involved very little management at the international level. But individual countries had to abide by a code of conduct. In the system of freely floating exchange rates, there is no provision for settling imbalances or providing reserves. This, however, requires a rule prohibiting official intervention in foreign exchange markets. However, in the present or in the future system, there would be a need for the day-to-day management at the international level. This is because of the fact of international interdependence. Today we live in a global economy. A global economy is characterized not only by the free movement of goods and services, but also by the free movement of ideas and of capital. The movements in exchange rates, interest rates and stock prices in various countries are intimately interconnected. There are certain benefits of the global economy, namely the international division of labor, economies of scale and the rapid spread of innovations from one country to another. Non-economic benefits as freedom of choice associated with the international movement of goods, capital, and people, and the freedom of thought associated with the international movement of ideas. However, global capitalism is not without its problems. These can be grouped under 5 main headings: the uneven distribution of benefits, the instability of the financial system, the incipient threat of global monopolies and oligopolies, the ambiguous role of the state, and the question of values and cohesion. These problems provide sufficient reason for international monetary system. 1.4 Evolution of the international monetary system. Latinash out al monetary system and institutions. The idea of creating an international economic and monetary union has a long history. In spite of this, it remained for centuries only a dream for the simple reason that until 1940s, no government took a keen interest in any of the schemes proposed. In 1920s, a French economist, Nougaro, floated the idea of establishing an international bank to issue a new international currency. In 1929, Schacht, the president of the Reichsbank, the central bank of Germany, proposed the creation of an international clearing union. In 1930, Keynes suggested a modified gold standard to be managed by a supranational bank, acting as the international bank of the last true RT. Nothing happened, however. During the 1930s, the interrelated developments which took place contributed to a change in official attitudes in industrial countries towards the international economic order. The collapse of the international economic system at the beginning of 1930s, followed by the Great Depression, the rise of fascism and the Second World War destroyed the old order which was created by trial and error. He called 1914 in response to going interracial economic integration events. Dunster 2 TDT, DTINR, percent VC, R, tilde TCCLNTR, CS, tilde tilde Sarticule tilde RLJ. Era to advance, specialized, and interdependent and some sort of a new economic order had to be thought of. Post-war recovery could not be left to the slow and haphazard processes of the market forces, vested interests which could have resisted an international economic order for fear of losing the national sovereignty in individual countries, were too shell-shocked and marginalized by the disastrous events during the 19,305 and 1940s to put up an effective resistance to fundamental far-reaching changes. Thus British, American and other plans finally culminated in a blueprint which was developed at the Bretton Woods Conference for the establishment of international organizations such as the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, IBRD, popularly known as the World Bank. Lord Keynes, a principal architect of the system, said in his closing address at Bretton Woods in 1944, "We have been learning to work together. If we can so continue, this nightmare, in which most of us here present have spent too much of our lives, will be over. The brotherhood of man will have become more than a phrase." Before discussing how the international financial system HCS performed during the half a century, we briefly discuss the international monetary system before the First World War. 1.4.1 The gold standard. The international monetary system that operated prior to the 1914-18 war was termed as the gold standard. Then the countries accepted the major assets gold and sterling in settlement of international debt. A unit of a country's currency was defined as a certain weight of gold, e.g. a pound sterling could be converted into 113.0015 grains of fine gold and the US dollar into 23.22 grains. Through these gold equivalents, the value of the pound was 113.0015, 23.22 times, or 4.885 times that of the dollar. Thus $4.885 was the par value of the pound. A country is said to be on the gold standard when its central bank is obliged to give gold in exchange for its currency when presented to it. The gold standard was the foundation of the international trading system. The currency of a country was freely convertible into gold at a fixed exchange rate. International debt settlement was to be in gold. When a country had a surplus in its balance of payments, gold flowed into its central bank. Thus the country with a balance of payment surplus could expand its domestic money supply without having the fear of insufficient shunt gold to meet its liabilities. When the money supply increased, prices increased, hence the demand of exports fell, the balance of payment surplus was reduced. On the other hand, when a country had a deficit in its balance of payments, gold flowed outside the country. Thus the deficit country had to contract the money supply with the reduction in its gold stocks. The prices of commodities decreased. Its exports become more competitive and the deficit automatically got corrected, as increase in exports resulted in gold mores. It is argued that the system based on the gold standard provided stability and an automatic adjustment mechanism. Since the value of gold relative to other goods and services does not change much over long periods of time, the monetary discipline imposed by the gold standard was expected to ensure long-run price stability. The data on wholesale prices reveals that prices at the beginning of the World War I in 1913 were roughly the same as they had been in the previous 150 years. However, the long-run stability includes alternative periods of inflation and deflation. During Napoleonic Wars, prices shot up and later in the 19th century they fell down remarkably. It is argued that even during the gold standard system the central banks, rather than allowing gold flows to adjust their domestic money supplies, intervened by varying their interest rates or expanding domestic credit. Similarly, deflationary mechanism, inherent in the gold standard, depressed employment but widespread unemployment was prevented by massive migration of the people to other countries. Nevertheless, the period from 1880 to 1914 during which the classical gold standard prevailed in most countries was a remarkable period. There was rapid expansion of virtually free international trade, exchange rates and prices were stable, free flow of labor and capital across political borders encouraged economic growth and world peace. 1.4.2 The interwar years 1914 to 1939. The gold standard broke down during World War I. Initially the international trading and payment system was dominated by flexible exchange rates. The gold standard was briefly reinstated from 1925-31 as the gold exchange standard. Under this, the central banks of individual countries would exchange home currency for the currency of some other country on the gold standard rather than gold itself. In 1931, England departed from the gold standard in the face of massive gold and capital outflows. The gold exchange standard was finished. It was replaced by the use of independent and uncoordinated trade policies of individual countries. These included managed exchange rates, devaluations of currencies and protectionism. The result was a beggar thy neighbor trade war in which nations cheapened their currencies in order to increase their exports at others' expense and refuse imports. The Great Depression was the result. Output and employment levels in individual countries came down for a decade. Only the extreme event like the World War II could kickstart the economy again. 1.4. 3 Bretton Woods, IMF and the World Bank. As mentioned above, Towards the end of the World War I, the outline of the post-war international monetary system had already been agreed upon. This was largely the result of the intensive work during the war by Lord Keynes and his colleagues in UK and Harry Dexter White in USA. Keynes, the foremost economist of his generation, the writer of General Theory of Employment, Interest and Money, 1939, had joined the Treasury during the war. He and White, of the US Treasury, exchanged drafts and a compromise proposal was agreed to at the international conference held in Bretton Woods, New Hampshire, USA in June 1944. This agreement, signed by 44 nations, was the Constitution L. The Articles of Agreement of the International Monetary Fund. The World Bank, the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, was established at STHE same time. 1.4.4 The IMF Agreement. The key provisions of the Bretton Woods Agreement were as follows. A new permanent institution, the International Monetary Fund, IMF, was to be established to promote consultation and collaboration on international monetary problems and to lend to member countries in need due to recurring balance of system payments deficits. Each fund member would establish, with the approval of the IMF, a par value for its currency and would undertake to maintain market exchange rates for its currency within 1% of the declared par value. Countries that freely bought and sold gold in international transactions were deemed to be adhering to the requirement that they maintain the exchange rates within the 1% margins. Thus the USA, the only country that met this condition, was not expected to intervene in the foreign exchange market. Other countries would intervene by buying and selling the dollars against their own currencies to keep the rates within 1% of their parities with the dollar. Members would change their par values only after having secured the fund approval. This approval would be given only if the Q11TR-S balance of payments was in fundamental disequilibrium. Exchange rate adjustment was not to be undertaken lightly. Temporary and cyclical imbalances were to be financed out of reserves or through borrowings from TLIE fund. Only a long and continuous loss of reserve assets in support of an exchange rate would be evidence of this fundamental disequilibrium. After a transitional period, currencies would be convertible, i.e. countries WOI-LD undertake to redeem balances of their currencies acquired by other members. Such convertibility would be either gold or the currency specified by the member requesting conversion. Each IMF member country would pay into the IMF pool a quota. 1/4 of WHKH would be in gold and the remainder in its owe to their quotas, to be determined according to each member size in TLIE world economy. But the fund was not to lend to finance outflows of capital. If a country's currency became scarce in the fund, the latter could authorize other countries to adopt exchange controls on imports and other current account purchases from the surplus country. This sanction against countries in large surplus was offered by Americans in response to a charge by Keynes that the proposed system was asymmetrically severe to countries in deficit. Closing parenthesis. 1.4.5 World Bank. Bretton Woods established both the IMF and the World Bank. The IMF was given powers to force even its largest and the most influential members to observe the stabilization adjustment rules. It could do so in the case of a deficit country when asked as the lender of the last resort. In the case of a surplus country, it could do it by declaring its currency scarce and allowing the outlier buff countries TLIE right to impose restrictions on transactions with TLIE country. Vlio's currency had been declared scarce, though the scarce currency clause was never used in practice. 7. The IMF dealt with short-term aspects of economic activity, raking the financial measures to facilitate high levels of employment and income. It did not address itself to TLIE problem of long-term development till the lieutenant of the international economy. The World Bank was created, therefore, to perform this function. Its task was to assist and supplement private interrelational investment. It was an international development finance institution. It served countries at different levels of development and with different political systems. It lent out of the funds placed at its disposal by the member countries. Thus, as Keynes noted, the fund was really a bank and the bank a fund. The charters of these two institutions tried to create the basic framework of supranational institutions required to manage the economic and financial behavior of a large number of countries who were economically interdependent. The problem that the Bretton Woods Agreement could not solve then and now was the central one of how to effectively run an internationally integrated international economy, how to ensure, in the absence of a world parliament and government, that supranational institutions perform the role that such a system demands. The system operated from the late 1940s till now departed in an army of respects from the original blueprint produced at Bretton Woods. 1.5 Working of the Bretton Woods System. An overview. 1-946-1971. Initially, the system worked extremely well. After the advent of the Cold War, the United States had to take over its management in 1947 to prevent a major international and political crisis when the economies of industrial countries had disintegrated after the war. The US policies ensured a steady injection of dollars into the world economy to facilitate the adjustment of imbalances in international payments. It helped, in this way, to preserve the system of fixed exchange rates among industrial economies almost for 2 decades. Massive US assistance to other countries started with the European Recovery Program. Marshall Aid is known the name of the US Secretary of State, and other official transfers in the late 1940s. The countries in Western Europe and Japan recovered economically as a result of these programs. While official grants and loans were reduced after 1950s, the military spending and investment abroad of the USA increased. In a sense, like the United Kingdom, before 1914, the United States provided other countries with its currency on a scale that facilitated the growth of world output, trade and investment without compromising the confidence the dollar enjoyed internationally. Thus, during the first decade after Bretton Woods, there was no occasion for the IMF to apply a scarce currency clause or without other countries wanting to convert their dollar reserves into gold. Under the Bretton Woods Agreement, each gov. fixed or pegged exchange rate for its currency vis-a-vis the dollar or gold. The fixed exchange rates were maintained by official incursion in the foreign exchange markets by purchases and sales of dollars by foreign central banks against their own currencies. The IMF stood ready to provide the necessary F-Brun exchange to member nation defending the currencies from temporary factors. Any dollars acquired by the monetary authorities in the process of such intervention could then be exchanged for gold at the U.S. Treasury at a fixed price of $35 per ounce. The central bank of the deficit country then had to intervene by buying with its reserves the excess supply of its own currency, effectively reducing the domestic money supply and halting the inflationary pressures. Changes in THK fixed rates, as mentioned above, were allowed only in the case of fundamental disequilibrium. However, government, perceiving the political costs of devaluation, were reluctant to act in time. Thus, financial crises were created, such as the French franc crisis of 1956-58 and problems of the British pound durag 1964-68. Then the French and the British authorities had to devalue their currencies to correct the payment imbalances. Americans were unwilling to sacrifice any of their major economic and political objectives as their economic supremacy waned, and other countries, notably West Germany and Japan, became economically powerful with surpluses in their balance of payments. As the rate of growth of economy accelerated in the 1960s and unemployment levels fell, the U.S. current account surpluses decreased. At the same time, the U.S. military expenditure abroad, particularly because of the Vietnam War, and investment increased. Thus, the U.S. balance of payments produced large deficits. These deficits had averaged $1 billion per year from 1949 to 1959. During 1960 to 65, these deficits averaged $2 billion per year. In 1970, the U.S. overall balance of payments deficit stood at $9.80 billion. The Result was a sharp deterioration in the ratio for U.S. reserves to its liquid liabilities, from 2.70 in 1950 to 0.92 in 1960 and 0.31 in 1970. Thus, IHC dollar became vulnerable to speculative attacks, as doubts increased around the world about the country's ability to maintain its currency fixed to gold at the existing parity of $35 to 1 ounce of pure gold. In 1971, the matters came to a head when President Nixon, as a preparation to the 1972 election, sought to expand U.S. domestic demand, generating inflationary forces. Speculation against the dollar mounted. The free market gold price increased sharply. This led several countries to demand conversion of their surplus dollars into gold at the official price of $35 per ounce. The USA, with $10 billion in gold reserves versus liabilities or $50 billion in other countries' reserves, decided to suspend convertibility in August 197 and the US dollar was set free to float. Because of the anxiety about the international monetary system, a conference of finance ministers was held in December 1971 at the Smithsonian Institute in Washington. The Smithsonian Agreement increased the fixed exchange band spread to 4.5%, thus allowing central banks more room before intervention became necessary. Dollar was formally devalued against gold. This dollar-based international monetary system continued to function further for about a year, when in 1973 another devaluation of the dollar became necessary because of continuing payments deficits. In mid-March 1973, the Bretton Woods system finally collapsed when 14 major industrial countries abandoned their fixed exchange rates and allowed their currencies to float against the dollar. The U.S. balance of payments were necessary to increase international liquidity. But as U.S. liabilities to foreign central banks grew, the confidence in TLIE convertibility of dollars into gold wavered. This problem is called Triffin dilemma, after Robert Triffin, 1960, pointed out the difficulty of the existing monetary arrangements. The second weakness of the Bretton Woods system concerned TLIE balance of payments adjustment process. As individual Q-L-tries faced balance of payments deficits, TLIE international community provided credits and advised TLE fund. Exchange rate adjustment was a rare event in industrial countries, and when they occurred, they were large and ad hoc in response to speculative attacks. Third weakness was TLE failure of the system to cope with large equilibrating capital flows. Interest rates differentials could induce sizable EOMLs of capital. These could not be controlled with O-T controlling all inter-relational transactions, thus creating disequilibrating forces. 1.6 Floating exchange rates, 1971 onwards. In 1973, TLIE world officially turned to floating rates. There were several attempts to bring order in the exchange rates practices. The Second Amendment in April 1978, following discussions in Rambouillet in France, 1975, and Jar-ECA, 1976, provided for TLIE reforms in the inter-iational monetary system. As a result, NLE-NBERS got a great deal of freedom in the choice of an exchange rate policy. Members may peg, float or manage their currencies to whatever degree they feel as consistent with their own domestic economic policies. Lee's Second Amendment restricted the role of gold in TLE international monetary system. The official price of gold was abolished. It was decided that special drawing rights, SDR, SLIOULD, become TLIE primary reserve asset of the international monetary system. The IMF abolished the requirement that members make some payments in gold. From 1971 onwards, the international monetary system had to go through difficult times because of some external events such as the oil crisis of 1973-74. Some affected countries experienced the CED balance of payments difficulties. The oil-producing and exporting countries and some other countries like Japan and some European countries ended up with balance of payments surpluses which were recycled to debtor countries, thus creating conditions for the debt crisis to follow in 1980s. -1.6.1 Assessment of floating rate system. The impact of floating rates in practice has been to increase uncertainty and misaligned net overshooting in foreign exchange markets. Overshooting implies that exchange rates move significantly TTLY beyond TLLE equilibrium level. Markets for financial assets, including LG foreign exchange, react more quickly than markets for goods to financial disturbance or policy changes. Foreign exchange markets tend to be more volatile than other markets. Thus real exchange rate volatility has increased, not decreased since floating began. TLL variables determine the exchange rates, difference in price performance and in interest rates, movement of current account balances, and TLIE expectations about future exchange rates engendered by these variables. There is a growing recognition of the importance of current account balances in influencing exchange rates. 1.6.2 Special drawing rights. In view of the limitations of the dollar, or ally other currency, or gold as the international reserve asset, from the later half 1960s, the negotiations over new reserve asset continued. In 1969, TLLE special drawing RGLLs, SDRs, were created. The SDRs were allocated to individual member tries by the IMF in proportion to their quotas, rather like a bonus issue OT, shares in a company. A country holding SDRs NLAY used them to acquire foreign currency by transferring them to another country in exchange for foreign currency. TLLE value of the SDR is calculated by I-Singa basket, which includes currencies of members having the largest exports D goods and services during 1980 to 84. These include the US dollar, the Deutsche Mark, the Japanese yen, the French franc and TLLE pound sterling. The dollar value of the SDR is computed daily by using the average of the buying and selling at midday on the 1.7 World Trade and Regionalism. The WTO has come up during the last 5 years to a remarkable extent with Cosmo events by TLIE member countries to free the international trade by reducing or completely eliminating tariff barriers as well as doing away with certain non-tariff barriers such as quotas. In these two aspects the WTO has succeeded to a certain extent. Primary, why out of TLIE desire of TLIE developed countries to find markets in the multinational corporation is to increase their sales and financial clout. During the last 2 decades, developing countries, once wedded to socialist it roles live been increasingly opening up their economies by liberalizing imports and trying to step up exports to supplement their inadequate domestic savings by IG foreign exchange. A timetable has been agreed upon by TLIE member countries to reduce the tariffs to TLIE agreed levels. The possible penalty of being expelled from the WTO as well as the danger of the tap for foreign loans being closed by the affluent developed countries as well as international financial institutions have been largely responsible for less developed countries falling into line. But if the latest Seattle conference of WTO in the USA is any guide, the progress of the WTO is likely to be in a bumpy and zigzag ride. As far as finding markets for their manufactured products, IA services and IOLH products of info nation and entertainment industries are IED, TLIE. Developed countries of the West and Japan have been beneficiaries of the arrangements hammered out in various WTO agreements. However, there has been a sea change in TLIE patterns of production and trade. During the last decades, the capital has become internationally mobile and with free convertibility of currencies can be moved from one country to another at the click of a button. International capital is keen to move to low-wage developing countries like China and South Asian countries, having adequate brain power. Multinational enterprises prefer to set production facilities abroad in developing countries. TLIE has, however, led to reduction in job opportunities in the developed countries. In USA the problem is quite acute. The USA has experienced a prolonged period of economic growth, when paradoxically the unemployment level has not kept pace with the growth rate or even stagnated. With increasing levels of consumption made possible by increased inflow of dollars from abroad. TLIE. Americans, who are in a position to do so, live in spending while a large mass of population dependent on employment are being slide into a new underclass. With such dilemmas inherent in the global trade and financial situation, the WTO lies to reconcile many a contradictory interests. With the tariff barriers going down and quota restrictions removed, the developed countries are seen to depend on ecological laws and humanitarian practices such as prevention of child labor to restrict the exports from developing countries. While TLIE developing countries feel threatened by the said labor standards and intellectual property rights legislation. In Seattle, TLIE American President Clinton was seen openly supporting TLIE claims of the organized labor and other NGOs for labor standards. TLIEs resulted in the breakdown of negotiation is at Seattle, though the optimists believe that at TLIE next Geneva conference, compromises will be hammered on many troublesome issues. There is reason to believe that optimists may well be right, as the penalties not making the WTO a going entity are too horrible to think of. With the UN-sponsored initiatives in Kosovo and East Timor, it is now certain that the concept of national sovereignty as known in TLIE past has been in retreat, and the intervention by multinational agencies such as IMF, World Bank, UN or WTO has gained legitimacy, albeit backed by the mighty military power of the US. 1.8 European Monetary System. The European Monetary System, EMS, was created by TLIE countries in the European Union, EU, to establish a zone of exchange rate stability and with a view to encourage trade and growth, so that integration of economic policies in the EU would be speeded up. The main feature of the EMS is TLIE operation of its exchange rate. The European Currency Unit, AQ, is the basket of fixed amounts of EU currencies. Thus ECJU represents a weighted average of market exchange rates of EU currencies, with weights being the proportions of fixed amounts of currencies in the basket. If economic fundamentals changed, the weights could be changed by official action. The value of the currency of a particular country and its weight would fluctuate. Thus with market exchange rates, the AQ is a numeric of the exchange rate mechanism. It is also used for settlements between central banks within the EU. It is also a unit of account for official EU business and is used frequently as a currency of denomination in the international credit and bond markets. Some EU countries also issue domestic treasury bills in AQs. 1.8.1 The exchange rate mechanism. EMS, to achieve stability through coordinated exchange rate management, depended on the exchange rates mechanism. The exchange rate mechanism, is a system of flexible exchange rates. The participant countries in the exchange rate IISM would keep the value of their currencies within margins of 2% on either side of the central rates against the other countries in TLIEERM. The British sterling, the Spanish peseta joining later on were allowed margins of 6% upwards or downwards. If these ceilings or floors were likely to be breached, the ITRIs had to intervene in the foreign exchange markets. If the sterling fell to its floor within the system, the Bank of England would be required to buy pounds and sell other currencies to maintain the value of sterling against the exchange rates of other European countries. Outlier countries would also intervene, on behalf of TLIE weak currency, to prop it. Country whose currency was under pressure, could also raise its short-term interest rates to make it more attractive to investors. If both the interventions TLIE foreign exchange market as well the interest rate adjustment failed to prevent the currency from going outside its floor or TLIE ceiling, TLIE central rates would be realigned to relieve the tensions. Initially there were realignments, but from 1987 to the massive tension in 1992, were none. It was argued that the failure of other currencies in the to realign in response to the increasing strength of TLIE Deutsche Mark Bruli TLIE system to TLIE verge of the breakdown. 1.8.2 European Monetary Union. The linking of currencies together by the Kaunite rise in is along a broad eye spectrum. At one end, there is very little linkage with 11 little sacrifice of the independence of the country's monetary policy. On the other end of the spectrum, the independence is given up altogether. In 1989, a committee headed by Jacques Delors recommended 3 stages in WLLICLL countries can achieve the goal of monetary union by moving from one end of the spectrum to another. The ultimate goal was to replace national currencies by a single EU currency managed by a sole central bank operating on behalf of all EU members. Leaders of the EU countries met at Maastricht in Netherlands on the 10th of December, 1991. The Treaty of Rome was amended to provide for CALAG of the Stage 2 of the Delors Plan on the 1st of January 1994 and starting the Stage 3 not later than the 1st of January 1999. Certain steps to harmonize social policies within the EU, such as workplace safety, consular protection, were taken. Steps were also taken towards centralizing foreign and defense policy decisions. Certain criteria were laid down for individual countries before moving to the Stage 3, regarding interest rates, budget deficits, below 3% of the GNP, national debt, not to exceed 60% of the GNP, etc. Despite this agreement at Maastricht, many European nations viewed the treaty with skepticism. There was a doubt whether it was wise to give up control over national economic polities. The Maastricht Treaty would not come into force. ULLESS all EU countries ratified it. In June 1992, the Danish voters rejected it. This rejection raised legal problems about the Maastricht Accord, because it required unanimous approval of EU countries. With expectations about the Wrench refusal to ratify the Maastricht Treaty, speculative attacks started on weak currencies which were expected to devalue. The Finnish marka and the Swedish krona were first to be attached by currency speculators. Lei were not yet members of the but had pegged their currencies to the AQ. Marka depreciated steeply against the AQ. The Swedish central bank, the Riksbank, allowed interest rates on call loans to reach 500% per annum. Thus, speculation in krona died down. However, speculation against the British pound and the Italian lira continued. By Friday, the 11th of September 1992, the Bundesbank, the non-central bank, had spent $16 billion in supporting the lira by buying the lira. However, it was reluctant to do anything more. Next week, Italy devalued its currency by 7% against the AQ. The foreign exchange market speculators expected that similar attacks on other currencies will succeed. In addition, certain remarks by the Bundesbank president regarding the necessity of currency realignment sparked off a speculative attack on the pound and the lira. On 16th September 1992, a day known as the Black Wednesday now, the POI-ND was allowed to float after the Bank of England lost several $billion in unsuccessfully defending it. Italy took the lira out of the rather than lose more reserves. Spanish peseta was devalued and the Spain reimposed exchange controls. The French franc also came under attack when speculators started selling francs, which would have breached the flow of the band, but for the massive intervention by the Bank of France and the Bundesbank in addition to a sharp rise in interest rates. After this turbulent week, French voters narrowly ratified the Maastricht Treaty on 20th September and EMU got another CL lance. 1.8.3 German unification. The tensions which led to the possibility of the call PSE of the EMS were mainly due to the Econo-NIC disturbance caused by the reunification of the East and West. Germany, East minimum wages moved upwards as the result of the parity everywhere in the country. The result was the high and employment and fall in OI-TPI-T in East Germany. The West Germany had to transfer above 5% of its income to the East to renovate the capital stock and support the unemployed workers. The heavy borrowing by the German government increased fiscal deficit and created inflationary pressures. Pent-up demand of East Germans for goods and services further stoked the inflation. The Bundesbank, the central bank of Germany, tightened monetary controls and raised the interest rates steeply. This created a problem for partners of Germany. Should they tighten their own monetary policies to maintain the rates? Or should they devalue their currencies against the mark to stimulate demand for their products? The countries allowed their interest rates to rise to avoid devaluation. Already, the slow down of economic activity in the had resulted in the real depreciation of the dollar. Thus the world demand moved away from the European goods towards American goods. However, the defense of the EM's exchange rates vis-a-vis dollar deepened the European recession. One solution to the problem would have been for Germany to lower its lending rates, but the Bundesbank, an independent central bank whose prime duty is to non-knit or the domestic monetary policy, refused to do so for fear of inflation at home. Thus currency upheavals continued through 1992 and 1993. There were repeated speculative attacks on weak currencies. However, the Bundesbank remained inflexible. Some critics say that the Bundesbank wanted to claim for the central bank status in the EMS, and thus deliberately tried to weaken the claims of London or Paris. On the 31st of May 1995, the European Commission prepared a blueprint for achieving the shift to a single currency. The transition towards the adoption of the AQ as the new currency of legal tender, to be called euro, was to be achieved in 3 stages. Stage 1, 1 year's period to participating countries to lock their exchange rates. Stage 1, fixing of parities by the European Central Bank and beginning of the operation of a single monetary policy. Stage 111, the final change over to the new currency with passing out of participating countries' own national currency and the AQ becoming the sole tender. The beginning of 1999 saw the introduction of euro as limit of account. By 2001, EMU would introduce euro bank notes and coins. 1.8.4 The prospect. The is now operating with wide bands of currency movement for participating countries, mainly plus or minus 15%. Thus breaking up of exchange rates of the members is virtually non-existent. The German and the Dutch exchange rates, the strong currencies among them, remain in a movement towards a common European currency. With Austria joining in, a common European currency would materialize with its possible adoption by other European countries. Britain, because of its cultural problems and the goals of its political elite, would possibly remain outside in the first wave towards common currency, but it is hoped that it would eventually join the European mainstream, not to be left behind losing the advantages of the European Monetary Union. 1.9 International financial system in developing countries. Taking a broader view of post-ORL8 War 1 years, it can be said that since 1980s there has been a general easing of restrictions in the international trade and finance policies. Firstly, residents can borrow freely in international financial markets and non-residents invest in domestic financial markets. Secondly, residents transfer capital and hold financial assets abroad. Non-residents issue liabilities and borrow in domestic financial markets. 1.9.1 The Asian currency crisis, 1997. Various reasons are advanced for the Asian currency crisis, such as going too fast or liberalizing too much. The one factor common to all countries was the financial panic that spilled across national boundaries. The problem started in Thailand, which had a fixed exchange rate against the dollar. So had Malaysia. So, when the dollar strengthened after 1995, this pulled up the Thai baht and Malaysian ringgit, also adversely affecting their export competitiveness. Thailand's current account deficit jumped to 8% of the GDP, gross domestic product. This created incentives for banks and finance companies to borrow dollars at low interest rates abroad and re-lend the money locally at high interest rates. Thus Thailand and Malaysia used dollars to finance a domestic boom, which took the bank credit to 150% of GDP. If export-oriented industries had been financed by dollars, that would have led to the real growth in GDP. However, the flood of dollars was channelized by foreign bankers into real estate, creating a property boom. Properties were held as collateral against foreign exchange loans. When the property bubble burst, prices crashed. The collateral was insufficient to recover the loans. In the meantime, Thailand used up its bulk of the foreign exchange reserves to prop up the exchange rate. It proved unsuccessful and Thai baht floated, losing its value in dollars. The IMF package could not reverse the trend. The history shows that in Thailand, Indonesia and Korea the currency plunge actually worsened after the IMF packages. S.D. Denly the confidence in the Asian miracle was replaced by blind panic, which spread from Thailand, Malaysia, Philippines and Indonesia. Japan was also affected. Indonesia had only a modest trade deficit and modest lending boom. But the financial system was extremely weak. Loans were dictated by connections, or name lending rather than sound appraisal and follow-up practices. The relatives of President Suharto, who had been continuously ruling for the last 3 decades, were major beneficiaries of the so-called, much praised by Americans and Europeans, Asian value, or Quangxi system where people depend on informal networks, friendly contacts, family values of obedience to the head of family, relative absence of formal contracts and less reliance on legal enforcement, machinery etc. Foreign lenders thought that any loan to a Suharto relative had the government guarantee. Peregrine, a Hong Kong-based merchant banking company, loaned $270 million to a company simply because one of the owners was a Suharto. Peregrine busted later on. In Korea the chaebol system was considered mainly responsible for the South Korean miracle. Businessmen had little money of their own, so the government directed enormous amount of bank credit to favored chaebols business conglomerates to enable them to build empire. The debt-equity ratios were at times 1000 to 1. Such highly leveraged business houses when extremely vulnerable to adverse economic conditions. Indian analysts have patted our O11 backs in not having the fixed exchange rate against the dollar, keeping the current account deficit down, 1.5% of GDP as against 8% in Thailand, not allowed till the IG banks and finance companies to borrow in dollars added re-lending in local currencies, recording all foreign debt, especially short-term debt, having properly audited accounts for companies, not having too high debt-equity ratios for companies, etc. However, with all TLIE restrictions India has not managed to grow as fast as South Asia 11 countries. India shows a per capita income of $320 as compared to $3,000 in Thailand and $10,000 for Korea. It appears that the quality of corporate governance and management of financial institutions and banks in India needs to be improved much. Further, financial markets need to be effectively administered. Till then we need capital controls thus inhibiting the flow of foreign direct investment. 1. Regional financial institutions. Development banks may operate at national, regional or international level. 1. Not only provide finance but also help in project development. The World Bank and International Finance Corporation, IFC, operate at international level. During 70s and 80s a tendency was noticed to non-COI iterates to concentrate on regional cooperation. During TLIIS period many developed it banks were set up at 1. Asian Development Bank, a multinational developed Nent Finance institution was founded in 1966 by 3 member governors to promote the social and economic NIC progress of Asian and Pacific region. The bank gives special attention to TLIE needs of the smaller or less development countries and priority to regional, sub-regional and NATI, ONL projects and programs. The bank's principal functions are I. To extend loans and equity investments for the economic and social development of its developing member countries, E. To provide clinical assisted till the I's for TLA preparation and execution of development projects and program till the IIMs and for advisory services, E. To promote and facilitate investment of public and private capital for development purposes and IV. to respond requests for assistance in coordinating development policies and plans of its developing neighbor countries. The two largest shareholder holders of the bank as on 3 St. December 1997 were Japan and United States, each accounting for 16% of total subscribed capital. 41 regional neighbors accounted for 63% of total shareholder holdings, while 16 non-regional members contributed 37% of total. The bank's operation is cover a wide spectrum of activities and have been classified according to the sectors: I. Agriculture LTURE and natural resources; E. Energy; E. Industry and non-fuel minerals; IV. Finance; V. Transport and communication; V. Social infrastructure and combination of some of the sectors, I and V. 2. African Development Bank. The African Development Bank, ADB, is a regional multilateral development bank engaged in promoting the economic development and social progress of its regional neighbor countries, RMCs, in Africa. The bank was established in 1964. It started functioning in 1966 with its headquarters in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire. Its SLIR holders are the 53 countries in Africa as well as 24 countries in the Americas, Europe, and Asia. The bank's principal functions are: I. To make loans and equity investments for the economic and social advancement of TLIERMCs, E. To provide technical assistance for the preparation and execution development projects and programs, E. To promote investment of public and private capital for development purposes, and IV. To respond TQCE till the UESTS for assistance in according development policy dollar and plans of RMCs. In its operations, the AK is also required to give special attention to national and multinational projects and programs. We promote regional integration. The financial resources of the bank consist of ordinary capital resources, comprising subscribed capital, reserves, funds raised through borrowings, and accumulated net income. The bank's authorized capital amounted to $23.29 billion United States dollars at the end of 1996. The ADB's capital is subscribed such that RMCs hold 2/3 of total subscribed capital, and non-regional members hold 1/3. The bank has borrowed funds for its ordinary operations from the international money and capital markets. The bank's callable capital backs its borrowings in the capital markets. The bank's operations cover the major sectors, with particular emphasis on agriculture, public utilities, transport, industry, the social sectors of health and education, and concerns cutting across sectors such as poverty reduction, environmental management, gender mainstreaming, and population activities. Most bank financing is designed to support specific projects. However, TLIE Bank also provides program, sector, and policy-based loan is to enhance national economic management. The bank also finances non-publicly guaranteed private sector operations. The bank actively pursues co-financing activities with bilateral and multilateral institutions. 3. European Investment Bank. The European Investment Bank, EIB, offers funds for certain public and private projects in European and other nations associated with TLIE common market. It emphasizes loans to the lesser developed regions in Europe and to associated members in Africa. 4. Inter-American Development Bank. The Inter-American Development Bank, IADB, the oldest and largest regional multilateral development institution, was established in December 1959 to help accelerate economic and social development in Latin America. AFESD is restricted to Arab League countries. The 4FESD is an Arab regional financial institution having an independent juridical PRS anality. Its objectives are to assist member countries in meeting development constraints, increasing absorptive GPA and achieving higher rates of growth, and to foster economic integration and cooperation among member countries. Its function is to assist TLIE economy and social development of RAP counties through 1. financing economic and social development projects, with preference given to overall Arab development and to joint Arab projects. 2. Financing private sector projects in member states by providing all forms of loans and guarantees to corporations and enterprises possessing juridical personality and participating in their equity capital, as well as providing other forms of financing and Ishanjite requisite financial, technical and advisory services. 3. Forming or participating in the equity capital of corporations possessing juridical reality for TLIE implementation and financing of private sector projects in member states. 1.11 Summary. The international monetary system consists of the institutions, laws, rules, instruments and procedures for payments made and received for international RRANS actions. Before 1914, the international monetary system that operated was called gold standard system. Two major assets, gold and sterling, were accepted in settlement of international debt under gold standard system. Central bank was obliged to give gold in exchange of its currency presented to it. In 1925, gold exchange standard was adopted. Under this system, central banks of individual countries exchanged home currency for the currency of some other country on the gold standard rather than gold itself. Until the Second World War, Saint countries adopted fluctuating exchange rates, while others adopted strict exchange controls. In 1944, at Bretton Woods by an agreement among nations, IMF and the World Bank was set up. The former dealt with odd-term aspects, OT economic activity, whereas it was to look the problem of low-term development of international economy. Under this agreement, fixed exchange rate system was adopted and the US dollar became the measurement of new monetary order. But this also did not work. In 1973, the world officially again turned to floating rates due to shortage of international liquidity because of pressure on US dollar. In 1969, a new international reserve asset, called SDR, by IMF was created. Its value is based on basket of 5 major currencies. In 1973, the Bretton Woods era formally crumbled when 14 nations decided to float their currencies. Nowadays many countries have floated their currency. Some countries have fixed the value of their currency either to US dollar or franc or against SDR. In 1979, European monetary system was created by European Union countries. The objectives of EMS were to establish a zone of exchange rate stability, to encourage trade and growth, and to integrate common economic policies within EU. The reunification of East and West Germany in 1990 created an economic disturbance that affected EMS. On 1.1.1999, 11 European countries of Economic and Monetary Union, EMU, took a historic step with the launch of a new currency, the euro. These countries are Austria, Belgium, Finland, France, Germany, Ireland, Italy, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, Portugal and Spain. Later, UK also joined it. Some EU member countries have not joined EMU. The latest event of this century was Asian currency crisis. The currency crisis occurred in Thailand, Malaysia, Philippines and Indonesia. Thank you for watching. We will see you in the next video, with next chapter.